everybody, it's Travel Crochet and my name is Tracy. It has been a long time. In fact, it's been 6 weeks since my last update. Now, I would like to read a thank you to the people who reached out to me to make sure I was okay. Rest assured, I am okay. Had a few hiccups, but I'm okay. Anyway, this is going to be possibly a long video, so if you would like to go and get yourself something to drink, something to eat, and anything that you may be working on while you listen to this huge update that I have. So where do I start? Okay, so 6 weeks ago, Chris and I made the decision that we were going to stop traveling Australia full time. So we wanted to move back into a house and be able to spread out, and basically we were missing community life. So once that decision was made, the last video you would have seen, we had just arrived in Hervey Bay and we actually fell in love with the area and we didn't want to leave. So we decided that we will start looking for a rental property, and we started to get worried because the locals were telling us it would take at least 18 months to get a rental, and we're going, oh no. It was lucky that I actually have a friend that lives half an hour from Hervey Bay, and she offered that we could stay in her house while we were looking for a rental, because we needed to save some extra money to cover the costs of a bond, and because you have to have 4 weeks for a bond and then an extra 2 weeks worth of rent on top of that. So it's a fair amount of cash to have up front. So that was very generous of her. So we stayed in her place, and then we started looking at rental properties. And boy, have things changed since we last rented over 3 years ago. There is a rental crisis. I'm pretty sure it is across the world, but definitely here in Australia, there's a huge rental crisis where if you go to an open inspection of a rental property, you have about up to 30 people inspecting the same property, hoping to get that property. So it was highly concerning, but also on top of that, there appears to be a bit of price gouging happening, where properties that probably used to be worth around $200 to $300 a week, and now they're asking $600 a week. And it's properties that there are a lot of things wrong with them, they're not so comfortable, and yeah, we had gone to quite a few properties that we would not live in. They had obviously been in a flood, and they were smelling and they were dirty, and I just wouldn't live in those conditions, and it's horrendous. It's actually happening. So anyway, we started looking, and there was one actual property that we had sent an email about to get some extra information, because it was actually a property that was fully furnished, and because we have been living in a caravan for the last 3 years, we have had nothing to start with, basically. So we thought, oh, that might be a good opportunity to get into a rental that's already furnished. So I sent an email, and we hadn't heard anything. Anyway, a few property inspections later, and we'd started applying for a few different properties that we did like. And then one day I just thought, I haven't heard back about that property that there was the furnished one. I might ring the real estate agent and just see if I can find out some more information. So as it turns out, I called the real estate agent, and she says, I don't know why that keeps coming up. It was rented out 6 months ago and it shouldn't even be on the website. And I'll go, that's disappointing. But But then she said, oh, so what's your circumstances and what are you after? And we explained our situation, and it's been more difficult for us also because we have no rental history for the last 3 years because we've been travelling Australia. Nobody really wanted to look at us as a potential tenant. And this real estate agent happened to say, well, she doesn't work like the rest of the real estate agents. And she actually had a property that had just gone onto their books that day, and it wasn't on the internet yet. And she said, well, I don't care that you haven't got the rental history. You know, I've got a good feeling about you, and, you know, you've told me about your story. Go around to this address and just have a look at the front of the property and see what you think. So we did that, and we thought, oh yeah, that actually looks all right. It was in Queensland, there's a lot of Queenslanders where you're upstairs and having to go up flights of stairs, and I just thought that would be a nightmare to furnish your house carrying things upstairs, or even if you're getting food, grocery shopping, carrying it upstairs would have been a nightmare. But this house was actually ground level. It had not been in a flooding area, and we thought, oh great, yes, seems perfect. So we called her back and said, yes, this is great. You know, what would you like us to do? So the owners actually hadn't quite finished revamping the gardens and that, because they'd just purchased the property earlier this year as an investment property. So they I think they had 2 weeks to go of just tidying things up. So she said, well, just send us through your information, your income and, you know, all your ID and all that, and we'll go from there, and I'll put it forward to the owners. And the next day she came back and said, yep, the owners have accepted you, you've got the property. And we haven't even seen inside their house, and we thought it was a risk, but it was also like it was meant to be, if you know what I mean. So we thought, you know, if the average person, couple, household takes 18 months to get a rental, and we just happen to get one 8 days in looking, I think this is just telling us this, we've got to say yes. So we signed the paperwork not seeing inside the house, and 2 weeks later we moved in. So that's what's been happening behind the scenes. So yeah, and we moved in on the 11th of April. Chris, my husband, actually decided that day, or the night before, to actually advertise our caravan, which wasn't empty yet or cleaned, on Facebook Marketplace for sale. And he says, oh, you know, that'll take ages. We may as well get it up there and just see how it goes. Well, the next day we had some interest, didn't we? So now I'm in panic mode. We're emptying the caravan, cleaning the caravan, and the next day we sold the caravan. And I was like, okay, that happened really fast. And then the day we sold the caravan, we're waiting for the funds to come into our bank account, and we thought, well, the car we've been driving, it was getting a bit old. We didn't need such a big car anymore. We weren't going to be towing a vehicle, a caravan. We still wanted a 4-wheel-drive ute, utility, or in America you call them trucks, but one that's not so big. So we thought, well, we'll go have a look at car yards and see what we can get for that. So we went through several car yards, and we found one that we really liked. And we said, yeah, we like that one. We got a really, really good deal. The gentleman that helped us out was so friendly and so helpful, very knowledgeable, and we actually got the car the next day. Brand new car. So sold the caravan. Next day's got a brand new car. We've moved into this house, so we actually had money left over after selling the caravan and trading in the car for a new one. And so we've been able to buy a few things. So we've got some, and the people that own this house actually had, it's a 3-bedroom house. Well, actually we've changed it to a 2-bedroom house, plus the 3rd bedroom's Chris's craft room, and there's this extra area out the front here that's sort of like a sunroom, and that's my craft room. And they had, yeah, 2 beds, a microwave, a TV, a unit that the TV sits on, a couple of other bedside tables, and a chest of drawers in the bedroom that we could buy off them, and they would leave that in the house for us. So fantastic. We already have a bed to sleep on. It was like, yay, that's just saved us so much work. In the meantime, I've bought this shelf, this cabinet behind me with the glass doors, because I didn't want my yarn to collect dust. So I do have an order coming in to fill that up a bit more, but having all this room is just fabulous. We have purchased a dining table and chair I'm sitting on, a recliner, couch. Oh, it's just amazing to have all this room when we've been living in a tiny little box for 3 years, and now we've got all this space. And it's funny, we met our next door neighbours, and Heather has only retired, I think she said 5 weeks ago, and she's a crocheter, and she also makes amigurumi toys. So we are definitely going to be catching up, and it's just like it's meant to be. So yeah, it's been a whirlwind. I've never lifted, carried, cleaned, and so many things in such a short amount of time. Definitely both of our backs have been playing up. So, but in this space of time, I've still been creating toys, making toys, and going to markets. So I actually have 3 markets to update you on that I attended. So yes, it's going to be a little longer video, this one. But I won't go through. I think I managed maybe possibly to take some, at least photos or footage of each setup, maybe not always the end of day. I believe I did. I took those on my phone because I didn't have my other camera with me. I think I did. So hopefully I should be able to put that footage in and go through it. So obviously from the last 2 I won't remember so much, but the one that we did on the weekend I can talk a bit more about. So what I'll do is just get myself a drink, and I'll be back shortly to go through the 3 markets. Okay, so let's start going through the 3 markets that I've been to while I've been missing and getting a rental and being in absolute chaos. Alright, so the first one that we went to was on the 16th of March. So right at the start of the 6 weeks ago. So that one so all the markets that I will be talking about is the same market. It's the one at the animal refuge. It raises money for them to, buy food for the animals that are in the shelter, vet bills, ongoing maintenance, and that sort of thing. So it's a really, really fantastic market. It is growing. The more we talk to the locals from the area, there used to be a larger market in the Hervey Bay area, but they got new management or something, and something happened to it where people weren't going anymore. So this one has overtaken, and it can have up to 227 sites. So it's a really large area, but it only costs $20 fee to have a stall there, a site. So it's so cheap, and it's for a good cause. So I don't mind it. And we can also have our car at the back of the site, so you don't have to carry things a long distance to set up, which is just a perfect ideal for us. And we've also discovered the market's always on a Sunday, but we discovered that on a Saturday afternoon we can set up our marquee ready for Sunday. So then when you come, you've got to set up between 4:30 and 5:30 to be ready for a 6 o'clock start. Then you're not in the dark trying to set up a marquee and having all sorts of trouble. So we found that absolutely so much more helpful. So anyway, the results of this market from the 16th of March, I sold 18 items, and the best sellers, okay, best sellers were the chicken eggs. I sold 2 small ones and 1 large. Then, of course, sea turtles. So I sold 1 large and 1 extra large. And then all the others were just one-offs. So the other things I sold, oh, again, my first sale, we're still getting used to this, and we're finding ourselves, Queenslanders, you are up early. I don't think there's been many days that we have been in bed past 6 a.m. It's just what you do up here. You get up early, you go to bed early. It's just because the sun's up early and you're out and about. So our first sale was $6.27, and it's funny, it never used to be that. All the other markets we've been to, but this is the trend, definitely. And also the trend with these ones is definitely here, people are willing to spend more money. They are less likely to spend the $5 and $8, more the 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. You know, it's so different. So the first 2 sales was a chicken egg, the small one and 1 large one. And then I sold my black cockatoo. Then I sold my extra large sea turtle. That one's I will have in the description, as always. I might even include just my entire list if it will fit. It may not fit. I'll have to put what I've sold in here, the designers of the patterns. Then I sold another chicken egg, a small one. Then I sold my last penguin made from acrylic. So I think that was my very last acrylic item made. I'd had that since the start when I first started crocheting. It's been going to every market and it's finally sold. I sold 1 sitting bee, a chameleon, my dino in PJs, I sold him, a small koala, a large bee, a large stingray, a Tyrannosaurus Rex. That's a free Instagram pattern, that one. Then I sold a baby chick in a hat, again an Instagram pattern. One of my chubby frog, Bob, the chubby frog pattern, one of those. Stitch, nearly every market I sell a stitch. Actually, for the next market I have a custom order for another stitch. A large sea turtle and a sesame chicken. So the total was 18 items altogether. Total amount was $261. 93 of that was cash, 168 card. Again, the site fee was $20 and square fees were $2.69. So I ended up with $238.31. And this market, I had a custom order for a unicorn for the next market. So I'm starting to get some locals that now know that I'm there every market, and they're coming back each time and starting to order items for the next markets, which is really, really great. I've never had that before. All right, so then we move on to the 6th of April, but I need another drink, and at the moment I'm waiting for a desk. I've got a desk that will go there and I will be able to have things near me, but I'm kind of surrounded by extra chairs at the moment. But I can't quite reach my drink that's over there. So I'll have a break, we'll come back and talk about the next market. All right, back, had a bit of a break, got the air conditioner on. The great thing about this area is it's warm all year round, so it's perfect weather. Anyway, so before we talk about the next market, I want to show you, I introduced mystery boxes, and I found these perfect boxes on Temu for mystery boxes, and this is where I've been starting to put my $5 and $8 items in, because they weren't selling. Like I said, they're more generally spend more money here. So I thought, well, how am I going to sell these cheaper items that used to sell the most that aren't now? So I've come up with the mystery boxes and mystery eggs. So the eggs, I can fit my tiny items in them, and I sealed them up with some sticky tape. And even when it's not Easter time, these are popular as well, and these have become quite popular. So I have $10 mystery boxes and $15 mystery boxes, and they've both been doing very well since I've introduced them. But of course, I found these boxes, perfect boxes, and Temu has now discontinued this actual brand with the question mark on it. So I have new ones coming that are just in different colors but don't have the question mark. But I have a sign that says mystery boxes, and I guarantee there's at least 2 toys inside, and sometimes 3. Like sometimes I had like really cheap small keychains and things like that, because even keychains have gone off here as well. And it's actually been quite a hit. So yeah, if it's something that you're thinking of doing, it's that unknown. They just got to know what's inside. But before they buy them, I always say, you're not guaranteed to like what you get. So I could possibly be getting myself out of a sale by saying that, but I like to stress, especially to the kids, like, you're not guaranteed to like what you get, so just remember that. But so far, all of them have been happy, which is good. Anyway, so the 6th of April was the next market. There was, normally the market is our 1st, 3rd and 5th Sunday of every month, if there's a 5th Sunday. Now there was a 5th Sunday, however it was forecast to pour with rain. It had been raining all week, and I thought if anybody dropped a plushie, or I dropped a plushie on the ground, it would end up just a mess. And so we decided not to go, and that's before we got this house, and we're still looking, so we had houses to look at. So we skipped that market. So the next one is the 6th of April. And here we are at the Nickenbah market, all set up, different setup trialing today. My friend that we've been staying with gave me these stands, which I think work really well. One in each corner. Finished the cocky last night. And finished those axolotls last night. So we'll see how we go. This is the Easter market, so I've just got a little section here. Right, half an hour to go. This is what they're looking like. Again, first sale, 6:15 a.m. which it still makes me laugh. It still makes me laugh. So this market goes from 6 o'clock in the morning to 12 midday. So you're all over and done with by lunchtime, which is great. So results of this one. I sold 23 items at this market. My best sellers was the $10 mystery boxes. I sold 4 of those. or mystery boxes in a category altogether, and one $15 mystery box. So they're definitely first time out, were popular. Next most popular item was small kittens, $8 each, which they haven't been selling. So it was interesting, but I sold 2 to 1 girl, who's one of my regulars now. Her mum has another stall at the market. 6 o'clock in the morning, she's always finding where we are and usually spends her pocket money at our market, so she's a regular. Yeah, she's a gorgeous girl. And then, of course, we always have to have the sea turtles as the top seller. Only 2, 1 medium and 1 small. Then I actually sold 2 mermaids, 1 large and 1 small. So that was the difference. The mermaids haven't been as popular as I thought they would be. But now they're sold, I don't think I'll make any more. Alright, so the other items that I sold, I sold one of the Lucky Dips. These ones I charge $6 for, so the item I put inside is normally my $5 item, but then $1 to cover the cost of the egg. So I sold one of those. Then I sold my medium Groot, which I actually have a custom order for next market for another one. 1 leggy froggy, which I'm gradually selling those. Most of my, or the rest of my leggy froggies are actually in mystery boxes now. A sitting dino, which is the one that I'd showed at the previous video that, yeah, the pattern wasn't great, so I won't be making another one of those. A turtle with the big butts. When I point them out what they are, the adults and kids get a laugh out of them, certainly, but they're so hard to display. Even if I have a few in a circle and one with the shell off, they just don't get it until they explain it. Then I think it's hilarious. But I don't think I'll be making, once they're all sold, I don't think I'll be making any more of those either. I sold my Grogu pattern. I think that trend has left the station too, so I don't think I'll be making any more Grogus. I don't think he's as popular as he was. I sold the unicorn that had been the custom order from the previous market. A medium cow that's one of the standing cows, the Crochet by Jenna pattern. My large wombat that had been there for quite a while. I won't be making another one of those either. It took quite a while for that one to sell. 1 sesame chicken. They're still selling gradually. I don't know if I will, once they're gone, make more or not. 1 large dragon. So dragons are hit and miss. But I have a couple of dragons that I have in mind that I want to make, so I'll still be making them because I like them anyway. Then what else? 1 platypus. They sell gradually. I'm not sure if we're going to keep them or not as well. And then the top sellers that I said. So yeah, it's interesting how the patterns are changing, and you gradually see different areas have different interests. I guess because we're like, even where we live here, we're like 400 meters from the beach. So sea turtles, definitely. And one of my regular customers now, she told us last week, because she has bought a whole heap of stuff from us, that her thing is turtles. So now any type of turtle pattern that I can find, I'm going to be buying, and I'm going to be making different variations of it, because she's a collector of turtles. So yeah, once you find, and the other thing, we have never seen so many dachshunds, I don't know how you pronounce it, dachshunds, sausage dogs in one area. Like every market there is like at least 10 people walking around with their dachshunds. So those patterns are going to be coming out too. Anyway, the total for this market with 23 items sold was $271. 166 was on card, 105 on cash, $2.66 square fees, and the $20 site fee. So total of $248.34. So it was what, $20 difference from the market previous to that. All right, now we'll be up to the market that was just gone on the weekend. Now there's a little story behind that because we had been in there, we moved into here the previous Friday, so it was the Sunday. We'd been here just over a week, so a week after we moved in. We were due to go to the market on the Sunday. Friday night, I'm preparing for the market. I've been making a few things and I thought, oh, I'd been cleaning or something. I thought, oh, I'll have an early shower and, you know, continue. And we have a shower where it's over the bath and there's a shelf really high that you put your like shampoo and conditioner and everything up there. And I literally I was worried about it from the minute we walked in to the house and saw that. But I thought, oh, if it's only just storing the bottles, it'll be okay. And I literally just put the shampoo bottle back up onto the glass shelf and it came down and smashed. And unfortunately, my toe, or my top of my big toe, caught some glass in it. And I can't remember much about that, but I must have screamed very loudly, and because all I could see was blood. I didn't know where it was coming from, so I screamed, and my husband thought that I had gone through the glass screen that's on the side. And he yells out, and he's like, "Are you bleeding?" And I said, "Yes, but I don't know where from." So that was panic mode. I literally had only just started my shower. And there was just glass everywhere. And yeah. So I got out and I had a few nicks on other toes, but it was only superficial. But this one on top of my large toe on my right foot wouldn't stop bleeding. And of course my husband's, I've put away most things in cupboards, and my husband's going, where, oh, we have, oh. All right, sorry about that. We got a delivery and the camera overheated at the same time. So, oh, and I just noticed it looks like my battery's about to go flat, and that should have been fully charged. Oh dear. That may have to be rectified shortly. Anyway, we'll go as long as we can, and then we'll have another interruption, obviously. I can't win today. Anyway, so I was talking about my foot. Yeah, because we're just moved into this house, Chris was yelling out, "Where's the first aid kit?" And unfortunately, I've realised, because I'm taller than Chris, I put it in a spot above the fridge that he couldn't reach very well. So he's trying to reach the first aid kit. And then we realised that during our travelling around Australia, our first aid kit had got very hot in some places, and a lot of our bandages and band-aids and that had melted. So that was a disaster. Eventually he found some gauze and a bandage to wrap around my foot because we couldn't stop the bleeding in my foot. And we thought, maybe it might need some stitches, better go to the hospital. So off we trundled to the local hospital and go into ER, and the doctor comes and has a look. It was actually quite fast. I was in within half an hour, and the doctor seeing me, and he says, "Oh, can you wiggle your toe for me?" And I go, "Actually, I can't." And I'm going, huh. And they go, oh, we'll have to do an x-ray to see if the bone's broken or anything like that. And I go, okay. And then the doctor comes back after we've had the x-ray done, maybe an hour later, and he goes, actually, I think you've cut your tendon in your toe and we're going to have to do surgery the next day. And the next day was market day and also Easter Sunday. And I go, oh, that's not what I expected. I expected maybe some stitches and then go home. And it's like, oh, surgery, okay. That is a shock. So the doctor said, look, I'll call you go home, I'll call you by 9:30, let you know what time to come into the hospital to have your surgery. And mind you, earlier that day, we'd already set up the marquee, ready for the market for the next day. And we go, okay, if he calls about 9:30, and we go, would we have to be in like within 10 minutes or would it be a while? And he goes, oh no, it'd be a while. So I decided that I'd go to the market, and he put this shoe thing on me, which you'll see in the footage, that made it very hard to walk, but so I could immobilise the toe but still sort of get around while I was waiting for the surgery. So I helped as much as I could putting things out in the market, but had to rest up as much as I could, but I made it to the market. And it was the best market that we've ever had. And I was worried because I thought, well, Easter Sunday, he will come out Easter Sunday and buy things at a market. Oh, and I hope it sounds a bit better. I realised when I looked at the footage when everything stopped before that I wasn't sounding great. So I've put my microphone on, so hopefully it's better now. So just let me know. So anyway, yes, went to the market and eventually got a call about 10 a.m. from the surgeon saying, come in at 5 o'clock. And I thought, beauty, we'll get the market in because that finishes at 12. We'll be all right. But as it turned out, in the end, he called a bit later and said they had a few more emergencies come in. I wouldn't be until the next morning. So that's okay. So now we can go over the actual market. The battery, it's nearly out. We'll see how far we get.
So here we are all set up again for another market at the Nikenbar Markets. Changed our setup again a little bit as well. Got the upright stands out the front. I'm filming for Tracy's Day. She had a bit of an accident last night and was waiting for the hospital to call for her to go in and have a tendon fixed in her big toe. A shelf came down in the bathroom last night and cut her big toe and ended up at a trip into emergency. So Tracy's down the back with a moon boot on the foot, just waiting for the surgeon to ring up and say come in. So we've got a friend on standby to come and pick her up if that happens. He said he's going to ring at 9. It's now just after 6 in the morning. How's your foot? Throbbing? Anyway.
Didn't plan on this one.
No, never played on these things. Anyway. It's one of Tracy's latest makes, the Mr. Big Octopus here. He's big. He goes, oh. All the way down. And a hot dog. I like the hot dog. Anyway, we'll give you a look after the market's done and see what we got left. Okay, signing off.
Alright, 15 minutes to go. This is what the afternoon is looking like. So we've pretty much back tables and them empty. Spread all those out. And that's what's left. So it's been a pretty good day. All right, so the market, 20th of April. I've got it on my list here. So our first sale, $6.35. Again, it was the same young girl that comes to this market with her mum. She comes over each time to check out what we have, and she bought a snake and Stitch. Now Stitch, as I said before, Stitch sells every market, and her family member, I'm not sure relation, has ordered another Stitch for next market and Groot, because she has also purchased Groot the previous market. So I've got 2 custom orders for next market, which is great. So top sellers, we not surprisingly, the lucky dips that were Easter egg looking ones did quite well. We sold 6 of those. Then the next top sellers were the chicken egg, the small ones. Sold 5 of those, completely sold out of those now. And the chicken egg large sold 1, that was the last one left. So completely all out of chicken eggs. So definitely we'll have to make some more of those. But the small ones do much. Well, it's hard to say actually. The big one sold first and then only had 1 left. So I'm going to have to make both sizes. Then mystery boxes, again, best sellers. Sold 3 of the $10 ones and 3 of the $15 ones, which was good. Not surprisingly, sea turtles were up there. I sold 3 small sea turtles, 1 medium and 1 extra large. That had been the biggest one that I've made so far, and it was funny, there was a family there that was walking past, and you can see the mum, she just saw it and she just went, oh my god, I've got to have it. And then she saw the price and she goes, yep, I've still got to have it. And it was, you know, it was pretty big. So I have sold an extra large turtle. Well, that was the biggest one, but what I'd been calling extra large, and then just gradually adding extra X's each market. And then I sold 2 of the smaller, realistic looking octopus patterns. And at the top of my head, I can't remember who that pattern's by. And then the rest is pretty much one-offs, but, oh, and I sold the same family that bought the extra large sea turtle, the pattern by, oh, what's her name? LA Crochet, her hot dog pattern. Because there are so many sausage dogs, what I call sausage dogs, dachshunds, dachshunds, however you pronounce it, around. I mean, even this market, I swear there was 15 at this market. Like, because it's held at a animal refuge, everyone brings their dogs there to walk around. And I've never seen so many in my life in one area. So I had made 1 of her hot dog patterns and it sold straight away. And there was actually a guy with another sausage dog in his arms, waiting to see if they put the sausage dog back down again, because he was going to buy it if they didn't. So definitely got to make a whole heap of those, and some in the hot dog, but some I'll make without the hot dog, because they're this actual sausage dog without the bun. So I think that's definitely what I need to keep in stock in this area, because there must be a breeder around here or something, but there's so many. I've never seen so many. So that is just, yeah, interesting. So what else did I sell? I made another Charmander, sold it. Every time I make it, I sell him straight away. I sold my Kookaburra. That had been there for quite a while. It always got a lot of interest, but nobody was buying it. But finally sold him. I don't think I'll make another one. I sold the small Pikachu and Charmander, and any Pokemon sell well. I sold a unicorn, one sesame chicken. So the sesame chickens, sell at least one a market, so they're good. I sold another my large Triceratops, a medium koala, a medium bee. That was my last bee. Actually, I think I've got one in the Lucky Dip, in a mystery box somewhere. But bees have gone off as well, I've found. So I don't know that I'll make more bees. And a small kitten. And I've also noticed that the kittens and cats are going off as well, off trend. So once they're sold, I don't think I will make any more. But I also have to watch too, because I have so many locals coming back each week. I don't want to have the same items every time, so I want to change up as much as I can the items. Oh, we're getting another delivery, look at this. All right, this will be the opportunity to change the battery and come back in a minute. Okay, sorry about that. That was actually my desk being delivered and my new chair. So we'll be able to set that up after this. And okay, where was I up to? All right. The final results of the market on the weekend, with me hobbling around trying my best to serve customers, ended up selling 37 items, and it was our best market to date. Total of $464, so absolutely amazing. So Easter, some extra tourists here, plus the locals, was fantastic. So 195 was on card, 269 cash. So we had $3.13 of square fees and the $20 stall fee, which leaves $440.87. So yeah, it was absolutely amazing. I called it the pain and injury payment. So yes, as I said, I ended up being called into the hospital, had to be in by 7 a.m. Monday, yes. And I can tell you, I've never had staff that are so friendly, so helpful. I don't know how, because I overheard some of the nurses saying that they work 110 hours a week. Like, that is crazy. Like, I don't know how they do it. But they were also friendly, also helpful. Like, even people that were finishing their shift were making sure I was okay before they left, and just fabulous. Anyway, by 9:30 I was heading to the theatre. Had some fabulous conversations with the anaesthetist. And then I think I was out of surgery, I think it was about lunchtime, 12 o'clock, somewhere like that. And I found out, luckily, my tendon wasn't completely cut. It was like a quarter cut, so they were able to repair it. And because originally they said I was going to end up with a full cast up to my knee, which they didn't have to do. So it's repaired, it's just got a bandage on it, and I've just got a sock over that. Just on antibiotics to make sure I don't get an infection. Try not to walk on it too much. I can weight bear as the pain decreases. It's not actually that painful anymore. And Chris is having a cough attack over there. And got to go back in 2 weeks for a review and make sure everything's going okay. So could have been a lot worse. Could have been way worse. So I could have been in a cast for 12 weeks, which I'm not. I am so grateful. But anyway, so I'm hobbling along, getting around a little bit. And yes, so I am now back. We are in a house. I've just got my desk, so I'll be able to set up things a bit better. I have Temu orders on their way to fill up and try and keep my yarn. I wanted this display so I can also visually see what I've got, what I need to get in stock, what I need to order, and it helps me decide on what pattern to do next as well. And from now on, I should be able to regularly have my videos coming out again. So today's Wednesday, so the next update I hope to do Saturday. So again, preparing market prepping for the next market. I have a new pattern that I'm doing at the moment. I've just started it. It's one that I bought a while ago that I was so excited to start making. And then when I bought the pattern and started reading through it, I got scared. And so I'd been putting it off. But now it's a sea turtle. And now I have this regular customer that collects turtles, that wants all sorts of different types of turtles. I'm giving it a go. Now, I'll go over it next video to see how it turned out, my thoughts on it, because it was actually the most I have ever spent on one pattern ever. So it was expensive. It is definitely not for beginners. And I'll let you know next video how it goes. So I will show you then. But thank you for everyone, like I said earlier at the start, for people who reached out to me to make sure I was okay, because I've been missing for 6 weeks, but I'm back in a house and totally enjoying this new space, enjoying making friends in the area, and already have a friend in the area. So it's really good. It's a new chapter in our lives again, settling down in an area that we fell in love with. So until next video, which should be Saturday, we'll see you then, and thank you so much for your support and sticking around and waiting for this video. Thanks everyone, see you next time.